there and welcome to episode 17, the TEW 2020 save from then to now. If you do like this content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, because we've got a big episode of Superstars here today. A match which, well, in 20 years, or less than that, in 15 years, would be a WrestleMania main event, is main eventing tonight's Superstars. I'm not going to spoil it too much, but we also have week 2 of the Maggots in the boot camp with Sergeant Slaughter's pre-Tough Enough. And a tag team title match as the Miracle Violence Connection take on the Nasty Boys. There is a lot happening tonight. This is a big card as we continue the build. Next week is the go home show for Saturday night's main event. And we are in California for this show. The Cow Palace in not quite San Francisco, but close enough. Daly City. It's essentially in San Francisco. But it's going to be a fun show, I reckon. So let's get right into it. We get a quick pre-show match as the Smoking Guns beat the Beverly Brothers just for the live crowd. Basically, we're trying to present the Guns as a serious threat, but we don't really want them beating any of our actually popular teams yet, so putting them on the house show loop, winning and having them beat the Beverly Brothers before the show is, I think, a decent way to present them as actual threats. A 40 rating, though. The Beverly Brothers were the better tag team here, but I think the Guns have a lot more potential. I mean, Billy Gunn, legend in this business. Bart Gunn, imagine what he could have been if they hadn't fed him to Butterbean. We then get our opening segment features Randy Savage announcing it's the culmination of his couple of weeks of self-defeated promos as he announces that from next week he will be stepping away from in-ring action and will be joining commentary for the foreseeable future. He is going to be joining the commentary team. I'm excited for that. He's very good colour. He's got a 96 colour or some around there. He's very good at that. And yes, this is of course all storyline. He hasn't actually retired, but he is having a existential crisis. We get our next 4 maggots. Paul Levesque, Sean Morley, Duke Droese, and Chris Kanyon. 4 future different levels of stars. You know, Paul Levesque, Triple H, one of the greatest of all time. Duke the Dumpster Droese is also here. But to get a 77, they get introduced. They're going to have their obstacle course shown later in the show. Ultimate Warrior beats both Bushwhackers. Just like that. 4 minutes 36. Goes a little longer than his normal squashes due to the fact that, well, he's got to deal with 2 people. If he tries one thing, the other person can just interrupt him. But the Bushwhackers take the pin. He pins Butch with the military press slam, which he'll probably do the slam to one of them, then the other guy will run in. He'll do the military press slam, and he'll do the splash to both of them. Pinning Butch because he's the legal man. Gets a 44 though. 72 for Warrior. Good stuff. Continues him building his momentum. Pat Patterson, the first ever Intercontinental Champion, is out as a representative for Jack Tunney. He announces that in 2 weeks' time, the week after the Saturday night main event, we will have a battle royal for an Intercontinental Championship shot. And that championship shot will also take place on Superstars in the week. I think in the week following or in the weeks following. I'll confirm that officially when the match is announced. 54 rating though. It's a little bit, it's just a little segment, hypes up the fact that we are going to have an IC Battle Royale in a few weeks to face either Dr. Death Steve Williams or Bret Hart. Speaking of Bret Hart, he's here now and he is playing the intermediary between Hulk Hogan and Jim Neidhart. And Jim agrees to team with Hogan at Saturday night's main event. So the match is official. Hulk Hogan and Jim Neidhart versus Ric Flair and Lex Luger. It's a 100 rated segment. It's almost entirely rated on Hogan here. But it'll give them a massive boost to Neidhart and Hart. A 100 rating is a great little thing to have on a show. Dog continues his build of momentum in more competitive matches than Warrior gets. But he beats IRS in just over 8 minutes when he hits the running power slam. 1, 2, 3, gets a 62 for Bulldog and a 60 for IRS. A 66 overall was pretty good. And Savage already has a chemistry boost on commentary. Because I know he did start this week. But yeah, so our commentary team is now Monsoon as the play-by-play, Savage as the babyface colour, and Heenan as the heel colour. A bit of fun. We've got a sit-down interview here. It's a 95 rated, and this is entirely rated on Gene Okerlund's microphone skills. Because it's a sit-down interview with Block A of the boot camp, with Glenn Jacobs, Jeff Jarrett, Scotty Riggs, and Brian Lawler. They chat about, like, Lawler and Jarrett talk about knowing each other through Memphis, and their dad's connection to each other, obviously. Jacobs talks about how he wants to be the next monster in the land of the giants. Scotty Riggs chats about what he hopes to achieve, and that he hopes to win this tournament and prove that he is one of the next big thing and the superstar of the 90s. Gets a 95 rating, good stuff, as it keeps these guys were just going to keep being in massive segments for months. Who knows how popular these guys are going to be after SummerSlam? I'm excited to find out, because we may have like 8 mid-card guys just on our hand at that point, because they may just be over to that level in the game. And if that happens, I won't say no. I will extend them if that happens. Max Moon defeats Papa Shango. Goes just over 8 minutes. It's a super kick for the win. Papa Shango is someone who I really don't have anything for. He is essentially an enhancement talent at this point. So I'm not going to pretend otherwise. He is there to be in other people's feuds, to take a loss when they need a win. And Max Moon is obviously in the feud with Mr. Fuji at the moment. So in comes Papa Shango to take the loss. Oh, and yeah, John Nord comes in, attacks Max Moon after the match, and that is confirmed that is going to be a match at Saturday Night Main Event. So we've got 3 matches now announced. I think there may be a 4th added, but I'm not certain. I think it may just be these 3 matches. No, there's got to be a 4th match, surely. But a 58 rating, not too bad. Lex Luger defeats Jim Powers. It's a complete and utter squash. Hits him with the steel-enforced forearm. Gets a 61 for Luger. And a 34 for Powers. Is just to really present Luger as a proper threat. The model, Rick Martel, is shown backstage after this match, chatting to the camera. And he says, "You may be a model, you may be a narcissist. You love what you look like. But Lex, I am a model, which means other people love what I look like. They chose me. And next week, Lex, I am going to show you other people's opinions matter so much more than yours. The model versus the narcissist, announced for next week's Superstars. Gets a 52 rating. This match probably could have been built up a lot more. Well, there's a bit of a build to it. I don't think this was ever going to be a pay-per-view match or a Saturday Night Main Event match, but I'm not going to complain about having the model versus the narcissist. It's a story which writes itself. Even though I think technically it will be heel versus heel. Yokozuna gets his squash match. Defeats Typhoon with the bunside drop. It's two big men slapping meat. Yokozuna gets Typhoon down with the corner splash for going up to the top rope, hitting the bunside drop. But Yokozuna does not take a bump in this match. That's how strong we're putting him over. It only goes 2 minutes, but Yokozuna has yet to take a bump. And I'm excited to see this go forward. Tag team titles. And it gets a 74, better than last week's match, which main evented. But Dr. Death Steve Williams defeats Jerry Sags with a Dr. Bomb, and the Miracle Violence Connection make their third defense of the WWF World Tag Team titles. And now, none of the people in the WrestleMania match can claim that they deserved a shot. We know their claims that, it was a triple threat rules, wasn't fair on us. All out the window. The Miracle Violence Connection have beaten both of them in back-to-back weeks. 80 for Dr. Death, 71 for Terry Gordy, a 60 for Jerry Sags, and a 57 for Brian Knobbs. Here it is. The Obstacle Course Challenge. Gets an 80-rated segment, and the results for this week. In 4th place is Duke Droese. He's the last to finish. He struggles with the netting and with the monkey bars, we'll say. In 3rd place, had the upper body strength to deal with the monkey bars easily, but struggled with the rope climb, was Paul Levesque. In 2nd place was Sean Morley, and in 1st place, using his agility to great avail, Chris Kanyon. So that's 4 points for Kanyon, 3 points for Morley, 2 points for Levesque, and 1 point for Duke Droese. Which means, tied at the top right now is Chris Kanyon and Brian Lawler, the two people who won their respective obstacle courses. Good stuff. And the main event. Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. Because, why the hell not? Gets a 78, 75 for Michaels, 80 for Taker. And Undertaker picks up the win when he defeats Michaels with a tombstone piledriver just over 16 minutes. The Jim Neidhart attacked Michaels at ringside. The match goes off and the lights cut out. The gong sounds and they come back up and the Undertaker and Bearer are gone, leaving Michaels alone in the ring with Neidhart facing opposite him. Which leads to our final segment, because Hogan and Bret come out, as does Luger and Flair. Starts a big brawl, which brings out the Miracle Violence Connection. Steve Williams and Terry Gordy run out, and they join in the attack. They're not joining the Horsemen, which, we're openly just calling them the Horsemen now. They just have a common enemy in the form of Bret Hart. They start brawling, they take out Hogan, they take out Flair, and they take out Hart even. And Flair goes under the ring, and brings out the steel pipes. which were involved in that big debut segment 2 weeks ago. They get the steel pipes, and they target Jim Neidhart. They have the Miracle Violence connection, hold him up. Flair swings, whacks him straight in the head. Gets him down. Luger has Shawn Michaels hold the steel pipe over Jim Neidhart's neck, and Luger stomps on it. It's a massive beatdown, leaving Hart without either of his family members at the moment. Well, except for Bulldog. And Hogan, once again, without a tag team partner. Gets a 100 rating. It's a great final segment. It's a storyline I'm loving telling. I am actually really enjoying the current storylines. The Fujigoon storyline, this main event mess, as I'm calling it, and the boot camp. I am loving these storylines which we've got going at the moment. And I hope you guys are too. What does the game think we got, though? The game thinks this is an 85 episode of Superstars. Better than last week's. Well, we did have a better main event and a very hot main event angle. But more important than what the game thinks is what you guys think. So let me know in the comments down below. And when this video gets 8 likes, the next episode will come out. So, it's up to you how quickly you want the next episode. But I'll see, or if it doesn't happen, I will just release it anyway. But I'll see you guys in that episode. Goodbye.